so
Yeah,
to
well,
speak.
when it comes to MK Ultra, you find it's the biggest onion there is. Every layer has another layer underneath of it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's I don't even think we should be referring to it as MK Ultra. You know,
Yeah.
that in itself, a lot of different researchers in the CIA have like attributed that to kind of a disinformation program done by the CIA to get people to look more at MK Ultra and Sidney Gottlieb and less at MK Artichoke and MK
True.
Search. Because
True. So why do they even have these names behind any study? That's my real thing. Like, would you think
well,
there's not completely confidential names, or do those
what do
all
you
end up coming out eventually?
what do you mean
Like,
by
why
that?
isn't it just like Project like Orange Banana Penis or
All right. Well,
like
there's
Project
certain
like Operation Midnight Climax? Like
there's
that's a
certain
cool name.
reasons for that. Like Project Midnight Climax is a sub project.
Yeah,
MK Ultra is an umbrella project, so it encompasses all kinds of projects. And
yeah.
MK Ultra, it it stands for MK is a designation that I think it was used for mostly in World War II, but seems to have been involved in all the MK Ultra type projects, all the mind control projects. It
True.
just
Like
is a designation.
Mein Kampf Ultra. No, I'm kidding.
No,
But no, it's like how all the ships are called like
it,
SS whatever.
yeah, it just
Just a
means
thing.
it's
It's
just
just a
like top
thing.
secret. That's all it is. It's like a designation for how secret it is.
Yeah.
MK is like one of the highest, or at least
Yeah.
was during World War II.
One
And
of the
Ultra,
highest ones they talk about openly.
yeah, and Ultra is also like the highest. But what you find is like that's maybe like a misleading name intentionally. MK Artichoke. MK Artichoke was actually named after Artichoke was apparently a street drug dealer in Washington D.C. The Artichoke King. That's I
Nice.
guess what it was named after. And then MK Search and Delta. Those are just random names. I would think. But
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think Delta, like you said, was probably on ultra cover for maybe MK Search. Like maybe
well,
these
what
names,
what?
these front names are really a deeper name. Like maybe MK
Yeah,
Search was one, and that MK Delta was a distraction for it,
yeah, 100%.
like
That's
MK
easily
Ultra is to
possible.
Artichoke. But yeah, who knows? We're speculating at this
From
point. What we
from
do
what I
know is
understand, what I read was like MK Delta was like the what they was the program just for getting the drugs that was mostly like just obtaining LSD
ah,
or
Delta. How do we get from nothing to drugs? Yeah,
yeah. And then MK Search, this is a little bit of speculation from me, a little bit from research. Seems to be, I think,
connecting the dots, eh?
yeah. What I think it was is the post Project Artichoke. I think Artichoke became MK Search. And but what MK Search was and what MK or what Project Artichoke both were for sure were like the foreign projects. MK Ultra is the domestic research they did, the stuff they did in the United States. But the
Ah,
MK Artichoke, like MK Artichoke had like a special operations team that would go out on missions to dose people with LSD or try and hypnotize them or shit like that. You know what I mean? Now that was like, but that was those guys didn't work for MK Ultra. MK Ultra was just like them testing on people in the United States mostly. Mostly.
yeah,
The more
yeah,
foreign tests usually were under MK Search or MK Artichoke.
that's true. Maybe MK Ultra was the subcontractor version of MK Artichoke also. Like yeah, because they we
100%.
know they
That's
break
exactly what it was.
nice. Because yeah,
Yeah.
we know that I didn't even read too much into that right now, but just from what I know about the MK Ultra studies and how they it may or may not have involved Charles Manson and all these
Mm-hmm.
different mini operations they kind of deflected through different agents, and we know agents may or may not be subcontractors in a lot of cases, like in my movie. Uh,
Yeah.
Joe Rogan may or may not be a subcontractor for the government. You know,
Yeah,
probably
for
just
sure.
for Netflix Space Force though. But
Yeah.
with the one thing we kind of do know is a real thing, and Pineapple Express has been commended for this. Even Seth Rogen and James Franco, masterpiece there.
Yeah.
Is the OSS, and I guess did that come out of the psychological warfare branch of MIS, or was the OSS like an overarching thing that kind of fell onto these drug studies, or what's that kind of about?
The OSS is pre-CIA. It's pretty much just the World War II intelligence. So OSS comes out of the fact that Pearl Harbor happened, and then we were like, okay, naval intelligence and military intelligence isn't enough. We need a intelligence division. That's what the CIA was originally made for. But before they thought the CIA, they were like, we at least need a wartime one. They weren't sure if they were going to keep it around in peacetime, but they were like, we need a wartime intelligence division. So that was the OSS.
So just like the Air Force, the Space Force, everything else that's kind of been created since World War II. It was created out of necessity then.
Exactly.
Or competition, I guess.
Exactly. We did have some intelligence, but we didn't have the level that Russia, Germany, and England all had. And England being our ally ended up being where we got a lot of our intelligence experience from.
Yeah. Yeah, they were supposed to be protector of the Atlantic coast, but once the Pacific coast became a threat, I guess you kind of need to have a quick response time because there's a huge distance between the ocean. And we know now how fast these responses can like kind of shut down.
And that was the thing too is like, it's not even like they didn't know. They knew Pearl Harbor was coming. That's a fact.
Yeah.
They just didn't. First of all, they didn't think the Japanese were going to do it or were capable of doing it. Second of all, they didn't have a response plan for it. So that was kind of what I forget who it was. The guy after FDR. Here, who was that? I don't know.
Was it
Can't
Eisenhower?
remember. No, it wasn't Eisenhower.
No, Eisenhower was after the war. I don't know.
I can't remember. The guy who took over after FDR died.
Truman?
Yeah, it was probably Truman.
Okay.
But he said, he was like, we knew Pearl Harbor was coming. We just didn't know what to do about it. Right?
Yeah.
So that was more like, and that I think is why the CIA has become an organization that goes out and like commits assassinations and stuff like that. Because they weren't just about collecting intelligence. We can collect intelligence with other divisions.
Counterintelligence agency.
Yeah,
that's really
exactly.
That's really what it is. Like if
counter-espionage.
We know now that it's kind of tough to connect all these organizations, but like the Defense Intelligence Agency is what the Central Intelligence Agency technically is. Like they are the ones that are the intelligence agency for the military.
Right.
Whereas the Central Intelligence Agency, you would think that connects all the intelligence agencies, but it doesn't. It
doesn't really.
It's not a FBI. The Federal Bureau of Investigation's the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and then the NRO, which is the satellite recon. So the Central Intelligence is like you're saying, the feet on the ground for outside of the U.S. Actually,
they're not actually even supposed to operate inside the United States. That's actually illegal. Everything MK Ultra was illegal, really.
Nice.
Because
So that's why it was CIA, under the OSS guys, right?
Well, no. Not really.
That was just two different things going on, eh?
Yeah. Well, the OSS happened earlier. The OSS became the CIA.
True. So was it the original committee from like 1943 that's here in front of me? All these crazy guys all these doctors?
So we'll get into that in for a second. Yeah. Those guys were the original guys, but I want to talk